Hello everybody! In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to optimize a mesh in Houdini and make it game ready. And I'm not going to go do all the LODs and so forth, but I'm going to show you the basics and I'm going to show you how it will look in Unity, but everything is going to be made in Houdini in this tutorial. So I'm going to put this one aside. Well, actually, I'm going to show you first. So this is the, you can see the dense text, model here, right? And we're going to optimize it to like this one here. And also you see here, there's actually more resolution in the face to keep the, you tend to look at face a lot. So I thought, well, let's do more resolution here. Otherwise we just have a pointy nose, and I like the shapes to be round here, right? And also we're going to UV map, and I'm going to make sure that the UV map is real world scale, because I always want the textures to be the same size. So if you have a texture, it will look the same. Let's say you have a brick texture, then it will have the same size on each model you put it. So I'm going to show how I do that too. So we're going to start in a new scene, but first, yeah, so I'm going to, let's see, I want this one to be like this. So in Unity, this is what we're going to have eventually later on, but it's going to be in the next tutorial though. But you see, there's also a shader here later that if you're interested in this one, it's going to be another tutorial how to do it. It's super nice, have control over that. But I'm actually going to save my file in here. To set up my workflow for later. So here I'm going to save as, and it's going to be here. And I'm also going to make sure I have the correct name, like this. So we make a geometry node. And in here, we're going to have this mesh. So this mesh here is Aphrodite something. I found it on TurboSquid. I'm gonna share you. It's here, this one, Venus de Milo, Aphrodite of Milos. I'm gonna share it in the comments, so you can also use it if you want. And I already saved it in here, so I have it in Unity. So I'm actually in Houdini. You can just drag and drop your OBJ file like this, or you just find it like this, like regular. But it's nice to do drop. So this one, it's huge. You can see the numbers here. It's like, well, this one looks like it's something like 3,000 meters high. It's a big one. Big lady. So I'm gonna make sure that we have it a little bit more optimized. And also, I want the reference, I want to know how big it should be. So I'm gonna do, if I take the test geometry, this one, it's down here, you can see down there it is. So I'm going to make sure that this one is the same size, so you can scale it, of course, but I'm just going to make this match size and put it like this. And what will happen is, first off, it's going to just put the model to the center, but we're not interested in that, so we're going to do none, none, and none in that, but we want to scale to fit. And if we zoom in now and reference this one, where is it? Okay. So we want to justify as well the eye distance. So we want the the model's minimum be the same as the reference minimum. And now it stands on the ground. And it seems like we need also to do justify the x. So we do center, 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 center. So now we have it here. And we do uniform scale best by fit, but we're going to do it by length. And now it's procedurally, you can just plug in another stuff and you always have it the correct size. Or you just scale it. So now I have it, the size I want it. So the first thing I want to do, I just want to make sure that I have the setup linked to Unity. So I'm going to have the statue like this, and in Unity you need to scale it up 100 times to compensate for the unit scale. So I'm going to save it, and in Unity I'm just going to open up new empty scene, and here it is. So yeah, it's a lot of triangles, so we're going to optimize this one in Houdini. So now I know that it's working and I have everything linked up because I saved it in the Unity folders. The first thing I want to work on is the resolution, right? So if we look at this one, it's huge. Well, huge, but it's a lot of mesh. And you can see here, it's like polygons 250 to 274. And in Game Engine, we don't want that. So we're gonna later on make an ambient occlusion map from this high resolution. So we're gonna have we're gonna use this labs baker, and if we do, I'm just gonna make a null here. So this is gonna be the high res, and we're gonna work. And so when we do bake textures, we're gonna have a high res in here, we're gonna have a low res in here. So we're gonna make sure before we work in this node, we need to optimize the mesh here, right? So if we look at the mesh, we can do a remesh. There is one option. And we need to crank up the resolution. So this is one way to do it, and this is super valid, of course. And yeah, but I'm going to show you more ways to do it. And also, let's say we do this. This could be a good start. And now we also need, so we have this mesh here, right? And this mesh going to take the normals and well, calculate ambient occlusion from this one. And first we need to put some UVs on it. So this auto UV node is super nice. So you can see here it's UV mapped. And when you bake, you need to make sure that all the UVs is inside the UV space. So you can't have it outside here. And also you can notice that this thing here is actually an overlapping piece. And this one too. And it's yeah, it's a lot of overlapping. So you can test a lot of different stuff here and change here. But first off, I'm gonna merge threshold. I'm gonna lower it quite a bit. So this might not there are other ways to do this, of course, but for me, this is going to be sufficient. There are a lot of small pieces though, so you can kind of put them together, and it's a matter of working with the slides here and try out some different settings. Let's try spectral and see what kind of result here down. Yeah, okay. So that might be easier to have bigger pieces, maybe. Yeah, we could go for that. That looks good enough. So, of course, you can do it in other programs, but so here we actually have a low mesh, and now we could bake. So here there are some stuff you can do, and we're gonna render out. Hip is next to where the hip file is saved, and you can have it in a render folder. In this case, I'm going to remove the render folder and also the hip name, and I'm going to do statue. And also I'm going to remove this suffix. So we only going to use the AO. And we can use some less 512, 512. And if we do a render, you see it works here, should go pretty fast. And now it's actually saved here. You can see it next to the hip file. So that's good. So I know where it is. So if I want it, oh well, it's actually the wrong one, but yeah. So and if you want to preview the ambient occlusion, you can do that too. So in order to do that, it's supposed to update it, but if you actually, I think it is a little bit of ambient occlusion. It's hard to tell actually. Sometimes I need to restart the Houdini to make it work. I'm just gonna make sure we do. Actually, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do this. No, actually. I'm gonna go down to the AO and do bias like this. And render one more time. So we should get a darker one. I'm not sure if we have a texture on it. Or a brighter. Okay, I'm gonna restart Houdini because I don't think it actually do what it's supposed to do. So I'm gonna pause and we'll be right back. All right, I restarted Houdini and now it works. So here, now you can see we have the ambient occlusion working. So I'm gonna make sure the normals is on the points. That means it's gonna be super smooth. Here it's super smooth, and if we don't have it, it's gonna be edgy. And in this case, it's super okay if it's like that. And I'm actually gonna have it on the high res as well. So we're gonna make another render. So this Maps Baker is really good, but it's not perfect. And you can see it's some issues here. And the issues is from the this other mesh when it shoots the rays to calculate it, right? So you can visualize the box where it shoots the rays, and we don't need to have it this long. So here you can see where the race starts, and let's say here, it starts from here and shoot inwards. So in these tight areas, we could actually crank it down like this and try again. Because now the rays won't hit anything before. You see there is some problems, and also there is happening stuff here, right? It looks a little bit weird. So before we continue working with this map speaker, I'm gonna address that. So what's happening here is that this mesh is scanned, right? But you can see down here there is some if I do like this, you can see these here. There are some, we don't need these weird things. It's just gonna make life harder for us. There's some stuff going on here. So I'm actually gonna smooth this out with a VDB node. Actually, we're gonna use VDB from polygons like this. And we're gonna make a VDB. And here I'm gonna crank it down and test how this one looks. And I feel we need even less. I have a pretty powerful computer, so I can do this. I don't know, maybe you need to work harder on this one. But here you see we kind of just made a VDB. It's kind of inside, it's nothing. So we make a waterproof model of this. And if we do VDB convert, and we do it back to polygons, you can see it's actually smooths out these parts a little bit. But we want this to be smoothed actually. So what we could do, if we do a VDB smooth, so if you see here, we have this weird stuff going on, right? And if we do a smooth here, you see we're actually smoothing out these weird problems. And if we do an iteration more, we get less of it. So this is a nicer mesh, and also, of course, we lose some details up here. And but I'm actually gonna leave that. And we could mask this, I guess. Is it possible? And group. Yeah, we could actually work on this, but I'm going to leave it for now. It's going to be another tutorial. So when we convert this back to mesh again, we have a much more smoother mesh here. That's going to give us less problems. And these areas down here are going to be better. So we're going to use this one when we yeah, we're gonna have this one as our high res instead. And it's this is high res. So what we're gonna do here, convert VDB. I'm actually gonna adapt. If we click it up here, it's actually gonna adapt for us and make it less mesh. So now we have 100,000 polygons. It's actually less than we had before. So it's smoother, and we're gonna have this one instead. So we're going to see how this looks, and this should be pretty much the same. And so let's say we want this face to have more resolution. We could use, instead of a remesh, we could do poly reduce, because now the mesh is pretty nice here. So if we do poly reduce, and let's see. Well, actually, I'm gonna do it. Poly reduce, and if we do a poly reduce here, so let's say we're pretty happy with this area down here, but we want the face. We want the face to have more resolution. We could do this by mask it out, and I'm going to show you how it's easily done. So we're going to have this spear here, and this is going to be our area where we want to have more resolution. And we just do a group, and so this mesh, if we do, it's important to change to points here, and with the base group we're going to remove, and then we keep in bounding regions, and we're going to select not bounding box but bounding object, point or vertices only. So now you can see that we can choose these points here in this group. This is going to be a mask like this, and if we do points, all right, well, I don't know. Yeah, okay, now it shows. So here we have the points. So if we go in here to this poly reduce, and you see if we keep it up to 100% again, you see there is no difference here. But if we do this retain density by attribute, we do the mask, because we named the group to mask. So we have mask here, and then we do the weight. We're going to have it heavy, like, well, I don't 10, I guess. So now you can see that the face gonna retain its resolution. Okay, we can have it even more. Weird, it should be working. So the points is here, and this should be working. Mask. Oh yeah, we just need the Wrangler, of course, because it's not group, it's an attribute. So if we do the group mask, and we do it as like this. So what we do now, all the points inside this mask will have the value of 10. So in here, it's actually picking up the attribute. So it's not a group, it's an attribute, right? So now when we do this, we keep the resolution. And this is gonna be nice because I just want some more resolution in the face, because you tend to look at that shape. So, and I'm gonna lower it a bit. So that's nice. So I'm gonna leave it for now, and I'm gonna continue in the next tutorial, and we're gonna UV map and make sure we have everything set up to be ready in the game engine. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.